Every day, millions of people worldwide wake with hope in their hearts, only to lay their heads down at night with that same hope fractured by reality's harsh edges. It's that terrible moment of disconnect when you've done everything right, followed every piece of advice, practiced all the healing techniques, yet still find yourself alone with your pain, calling out into what feels like an empty universe. Have you ever felt that crushing weight in your chest, so heavy that each breath becomes a conscious effort? That moment when pain wraps around your heart like a vice, squeezing until you wonder if the ache will ever subside. We've all been there, in that shadowy place where comfort seems like a distant memory and healing feels impossibly out of reach. Has this ever happened to you? You whisper your deepest desires for healing into the darkness, pouring your heart out in prayer or meditation, only to feel your words dissolve into nothingness? That sensation, that your pleas for comfort are simply vanishing into thin air. It's not because the universe isn't listening. It's because you've been speaking a language it simply doesn't understand. Stay with me, because today I'm going to share something so simple yet profoundly powerful that it might completely transform your relationship with pain and how quickly comfort finds you in your darkest moments. This isn't about adding more complicated practices to your already overwhelming life. What you're about to discover might surprise you, especially if you've been struggling with heartache for months or even years. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean of pain, calling out for relief, but hearing nothing except the echo of your own desperate voice. Now imagine if there were 3 simple words, just 3, that could instantly shift the energy of that moment, words that could create an immediate bridge between your suffering and divine comfort. The difference between those who remain trapped in cycles of heartache and those who find miraculous comfort isn't what most healing teachers are revealing. It's not about trying harder or becoming more spiritual. It's about understanding a fundamental truth about how the universe responds to your heart's cry, a truth that has remained hidden in plain sight. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. What I discovered during my darkest hour, when my own heart was shattered beyond what I thought possible, was that the universe doesn't have ears to hear your requests for comfort. Instead, it has energy receptors that respond only to certainty. And the 3 words I'm about to share with you contain the exact energetic frequency that transforms your relationship with healing forever. These 3 words may seem deceptively simple, but they carry the power to instantly recalibrate your entire relationship with pain. You see, there's a fundamental difference between those who find immediate comfort when their heart hurts and those who remain trapped in seemingly endless cycles of pain and disappointment. The revelation that changed everything for me was discovering that the universe responds to a different language than most people use when seeking relief from their suffering. Think about it this way. Have you created what seemed like the perfect morning routine? Perhaps you filled your mornings with positive affirmations, heart-centered meditations, and visualizations so vivid you could almost touch the comfort you desire. You've followed all the expert advice, done everything right, and yet weeks later, nothing has changed. Perhaps things have even gotten worse, as if the universe is testing your resolve or, worse yet, ignoring your pleas entirely. This isn't because your desire for healing isn't genuine or because you're somehow unworthy of comfort. It's because there's a profound mindset shift that most healing journeys overlook entirely. Most of us have been trained since childhood to approach the universe as supplicants, begging, pleading, hoping for scraps of comfort from what feels like an indifferent cosmos. This hidden truth reveals why so many remain trapped in painful cycles despite their best intentions. The transformation begins when you recognize that the universe doesn't understand the language of need. It only responds to the language of certainty. When you say, "I need healing," or "I hope to find peace," you're actually broadcasting a frequency of absence, a signal that says comfort is not yet yours. The universe, being the perfect mirror of your own energetic state, simply reflects that absence back to you with flawless precision. Behind the scenes of every miraculous healing is this fundamental shift in consciousness, moving from requesting comfort to commanding it, with the quiet authority that is your birthright. This isn't about forcing a false positivity or pretending your pain doesn't exist. It's about accessing a forgotten wisdom that creates an instantaneous, energetic recalibration in your entire being. The journey from heartbreak to wholeness isn't found in increasingly complex techniques or spiritual practices. The revelation that shocked me most was how simple the solution truly is. When you declare, "It is done," from a place of genuine knowing rather than desperate hoping, you create an immediate shift in your vibrational signature that the universe cannot ignore. Now, I want to go even deeper into what actually happens physiologically in your body when you make this declaration from a place of authentic alignment versus desperate hoping. The difference is both subtle and revolutionary, creating ripple effects throughout your entire system that accelerate comfort in ways that might seem miraculous to outside observers. If you're beginning to sense that there's been a critical missing piece in your healing journey, write, "I speak the language of certainty," in the comments below. When you're in the depths of heartache, the last thing you need is more complexity in your healing journey. The revelation that transformed countless lives, including my own during my darkest moments, is that the secret to receiving comfort when your heart hurts isn't about trying harder or adding more spiritual practices to your already overwhelmed life. It's something so beautifully simple, yet profoundly powerful, that it might completely transform your relationship with the universe and how quickly comfort finds you. Behind every transformative breakthrough is often a stunningly simple insight that was hiding in plain sight all along. This paradigm shift in your healing journey doesn't require years of spiritual study or complex meditation techniques. The mindset revolution begins with understanding that comfort isn't something you need to chase or earn. It's something you command into being through your innate spiritual authority. The secret lies in 3 simple words that can instantly shift you from feeling heartbroken to being divinely comforted, words that create an immediate energetic recalibration so powerful that the universe has no choice but to respond with compassion. These words are, "It is done." When spoken with authentic conviction, not desperate hoping, these 3 words alter the electromagnetic field around your body in ways that modern science is just beginning to measure and understand. Consider what happens physiologically when you declare, "It is done," from a place of genuine knowing. Your shoulders naturally relax, your breathing deepens, and a peaceful certainty replaces that anxious striving that's been keeping comfort at bay. This bodily shift isn't just psychological. It's a measurable energetic transformation that the quantum field immediately recognizes and responds to with perfect precision. Most people remain caught in cycles of pain because they're broadcasting the frequency of seeking rather than having. The hidden revelation that changed everything for me was realizing that the universe doesn't have ears to hear your pleas. It has energy receptors that respond only to the vibrational signature you're emitting. When you say, "I want comfort," or "I hope to feel better soon," you're actually telling the universe that comfort is something outside of you, something you lack, something not yet yours. This journey of inner alchemy happens when you shift from the mentality of hoping to the mentality of knowing. It's not about denying your pain or forcing toxic positivity. It's about accessing a deeper truth that exists beyond your current circumstances. When you declare, "It is done," while feeling the emotional signature of completion rather than just thinking about comfort, you access a completely different current of creative energy. Now, I want to explore the fascinating science behind why these three simple words work with such remarkable power when spoken with authentic alignment. What happens in your nervous system and brain chemistry when you make this declaration from a place of genuine authority rather than desperate pleading? If you're beginning to recognize how your energy might be creating interference in your healing process, write, "I command with clarity," in the comments below. The remarkable revelation that changed everything for me was understanding that the disconnection you feel isn't because you're doing something wrong in your healing journey. It's because there's been a crucial piece missing in everything you've learned about seeking comfort until now. This mindset transformation opens the door to accessing a forgotten power that has been your birthright all along, the divine authority to command comfort rather than beg for it. If these insights on healing have touched your heart, hit that subscribe button to join our community of conscious creators. I share powerful transformations that most teachers never reveal. Think about how most of us were conditioned since childhood. When we were hurt, we were taught to cry out, to plead for help, to express our pain in hopes that someone would respond with comfort. This early programming created a blueprint for how we relate to the universe when our hearts are broken. Behind the scenes of most spiritual practices is this same fundamental approach, being a good, patient supplicant hoping to be noticed by the divine. Most of us have unconsciously been approaching the universe as beggars, pleading for comfort from what feels like an indifferent cosmos. We whisper our prayers, set our intentions, perform our rituals, all while broadcasting the energetic frequency of need rather than command. This supplicant approach is precisely why your heart continues to hurt despite your best efforts. The revolutionary insight here is that the universe isn't ignoring your pleas. It's actually waiting for you to stop pleading altogether. This journey of self-discovery requires a complete recalibration of how you understand your relationship with universal forces. The hidden truth that most healing modalities miss entirely is that the universe responds only to the language of certainty, not the language of need. When you declare, "It is done," from a place of genuine knowing, you're not trying to convince the universe of anything. You're simply aligning with immutable cosmic law. Consider the profound difference between these two approaches. When you plead for comfort, saying, "Please ease my pain," or "I hope to feel better soon," you're positioning yourself as subordinate to the universe, as if comfort is something outside yourself that must be granted by some higher authority. But when you command comfort with, "It is done," you're stepping into your rightful position as a co-creator with the universe, recognizing that comfort is your natural state that you're simply calling back into conscious awareness. This revelation creates one of the most significant mindset shifts possible on your healing journey. You're moving from the posture of a victim hoping for rescue to the posture of a creator claiming what is already yours. This isn't arrogance or spiritual bypassing, it's accurately understanding the mechanics of how universal energy responds to human consciousness. The breakthrough moment comes when you recognize that your comfort isn't dependent on convincing the universe that you deserve it. The universe isn't evaluating your worthiness or making decisions about whether to grant your wishes. It's simply responding with mathematical precision to the energetic broadcast you're transmitting. Now, I want to explore what happens when you truly embody this creator consciousness, how it fundamentally transforms not just your thoughts about healing, but your entire physiological relationship with pain and comfort. If you're feeling a resonance with this idea that comfort is your birthright rather than something you need to earn or be granted, write "I claim my divine authority" in the comments below. When you think about your relationship with the universe, I want you to consider a profound question that might completely transform your healing journey. Have you been asking the universe to respond to your pain? Or have you been commanding comfort with the authority that is your divine right? This distinction creates a fundamental revolution in how quickly your heart finds relief. The breakthrough insight that completely transformed my own journey through heartache was discovering that the universe doesn't have ears to hear your requests. It has energy receptors that respond only to certainty. This revelation illuminates why some people seem to receive miraculous comfort almost instantly, while others remain trapped in cycles of pain despite their most sincere efforts. Consider the impact of this mindset shift for a moment. When you whisper, "Please help me feel better," or "I hope this pain will end soon," you're broadcasting a frequency of uncertainty, a signal that says you don't truly believe comfort is possible. But when you declare with quiet conviction, "It is done," something remarkable happens in your entire being. This isn't about forcing false positivity or pretending your pain doesn't exist. It's about accessing a deeper truth that exists beyond your current circumstances. These three words, "It is done," hold transformative power that most seekers miss entirely on their healing journey. Behind the scenes of every seemingly miraculous recovery from heartache is this fundamental truth. When spoken with genuine conviction, these simple words create a quantum shift in your energetic field that the universe cannot ignore. They are not magical incantations or secret codes that trick the universe into compliance. They are energetic triggers that create an immediate recalibration in your vibrational signature. The decision point in your healing journey comes when you recognize that you've been unconsciously sabotaging your comfort by broadcasting mixed signals to the universe. You've been saying, "I want healing," while your energy has been communicating, "But I don't really believe it's possible for me." These contradictory frequencies create what physicists might call wave interference, where two conflicting signals meet and cancel each other out. Think about those rare moments in your life when you absolutely knew something was going to work out. Perhaps you were certain a situation would resolve or a relationship would heal. That unshakable knowing created a completely different energy than hoping or wishing, didn't it? There was no internal division, no split frequency, just a quiet, peaceful certainty that eliminated all doubt without effort. That's the exact state that "it is done" helps you access consistently and intentionally. This revelation about the power of certainty isn't just spiritual philosophy, it's supported by cutting-edge research into the mind-body connection. Scientists have documented that our thoughts and emotions create measurable changes in our biochemistry, immune function, and even genetic expression. When you shift from the stress response of uncertainty to the peaceful state of knowing, you create a physiological environment that accelerates healing on every level. Now, I want to explore the fascinating connection between your words and your energy field, why two people can speak identical phrases yet create completely different results in their healing journey. If you're beginning to recognize how your approach to the universe might be creating interference in your healing process, write "I command with certainty" in the comments below. When you've tried everything to heal your broken heart, there's often a frustrating gap that emerges, a chasm between your intentions for healing and your reality of continued pain. Think about all the techniques you've diligently applied. Perhaps you filled journals with gratitude lists, spent hours in meditation, surrounded yourself with healing crystals, or faithfully recited affirmations each morning. You've done everything the experts suggested, followed all the spiritual guidance, yet your heart still aches with the same intensity. The revelation that transformed my own healing journey was discovering that this gap isn't about technique or effort. It's about the hidden language you're unconsciously speaking to the universe. This insight creates a fundamental paradigm shift in how we understand the healing process. Most people remain caught in cycles of heartache because they're focused on perfecting their techniques rather than transforming their energetic broadcast. Behind every seemingly miraculous healing is this profound truth. The universe responds not to your words, but to the frequency you're emitting. When you say phrases like, "I want comfort," or "I hope to attract healing," you're actually transmitting a frequency of absence to the universe, a signal that says this healing is not yet yours, that comfort remains separate from your current experience. The universe, being the perfect mirror that it is, simply reflects that absence back to you with flawless precision. This creates the painful cycle that keeps you feeling stuck, where the more desperately you seek comfort, the more it seems to elude you. This revelation illuminates why traditional affirmations often feel empty and ineffective. When you recite, "I am healed," while your energy field is broadcasting pain and doubt, you create an internal contradiction that the universe cannot reconcile. Your words are saying one thing while your frequency is communicating something entirely different. And in this energetic dissonance, your frequency always overrides your words. The breakthrough transformation happens when you recognize that healing isn't about perfect phrasing or memorizing magical affirmations. It's about achieving energetic coherence, alignment between your words, thoughts, emotions, and subconscious beliefs. This journey of inner alchemy moves you from the exhausting effort of trying to heal against internal resistance to the peaceful power of creating comfort from complete congruence. Consider how differently you move through the world when you're certain of something versus when you're hoping for it. There's a different posture, a different tone in your voice, a different quality to your decisions. When you declare, "It is done," from this centered place of peaceful confidence, you create a harmonic resonance between your words and your energy that becomes an irresistible command to the universe. The decision point in your healing journey comes when you realize that most people's conscious desires represent only about 5% of their total energetic broadcast. The remaining 95% comes from subconscious programming, emotional patterns, and habitual thought cycles that often directly contradict what they're consciously affirming. The universe responds to the dominant frequency, not the conscious intention. Now, I want to go even deeper into how your nervous system physically responds to certainty versus uncertainty, and how this biological reaction creates a dramatic acceleration in your healing process when you align with the frequency of "it is done." If you've been experiencing this frustrating gap between your intentions for healing and your actual experience of comfort, write "I'm closing the gap" in the comments below. Your relationship with healing fundamentally transforms when you grasp this revolutionary truth. The universe doesn't respond to requests for comfort. It responds only to commands issued with unwavering certainty. This revelation creates a complete paradigm shift in how quickly your heart finds relief. When you move from the mindset of asking to the mindset of claiming, you create an entirely different energetic signature that the universe immediately recognizes and mirrors back to you. Think about the subtle but profound difference between saying, "Please help me heal this broken heart," versus declaring, "My heart is already whole." One statement positions comfort as something outside yourself that might eventually come if you're deserving enough. The other acknowledges healing as your natural state that you're simply reclaiming. This distinction isn't just semantic. It represents a complete recalibration of your relationship with universal forces. Subscribe now to continue this journey of healing with me. Each time you visit this channel, you'll discover another key to unlocking the comfort your heart truly deserves. The catalyst for transformation happens when you truly understand the power of present completion. When you declare, "It is done," you're not forecasting a future possibility of comfort or making a hopeful prediction about your healing journey. You're acknowledging a present reality that already exists in its completed form. This insight completely revolutionizes your approach to heartache. Most healing modalities position comfort as something you'll hopefully experience someday if you practice enough techniques or recite enough affirmations. But "It is done" operates on an entirely different principle. You're stepping outside linear time and accessing the quantum reality where the healing you desire already exists in its finished form. You're not trying to create something new. You're aligning with what already is. This mindset revolution represents one of the most significant breakthroughs possible in your healing journey. Modern physics has revealed that time isn't actually linear as we perceive it. All possibilities exist simultaneously in what scientists call the quantum field. When you declare, "It is done," you're essentially collapsing the quantum wave function around the reality of comfort that already exists in potential form. The journey of inner alchemy happens when you recognize that comfort isn't something you need to chase or earn. It's your natural state that pain has temporarily obscured. This profound shift moves you from the exhausting effort of trying to convince yourself that healing is possible to the peaceful certainty that it's already complete. The difference is like pushing a boulder uphill versus standing at the top of the mountain, simply releasing it to roll down naturally. Behind the scenes of every seemingly miraculous recovery is this fundamental truth. When your conscious declaration aligns perfectly with your subconscious beliefs, your emotional state, and your energetic frequency, you create a unified broadcast that cuts through the noise of collective consciousness with laser-like precision. This congruence transforms ordinary words into powerful commands that the universe must obey. Now, I want to go even deeper into why traditional affirmations often fail to create real change in your healing journey, and how the declaration, "It is done," operates on an entirely different energetic principle that accelerates comfort beyond what most believe possible. If you're beginning to sense the profound difference between asking for healing and commanding it with certainty, write, "I declare completion" in the comments below. The revelation that completely transformed my own healing journey was discovering the fundamental misunderstanding in most comfort teachings. They position healing as something you'll hopefully attract someday if you're patient enough, disciplined enough, or spiritually evolved enough, rather than something you command into being through the inherent authority of your consciousness. This revelation creates the most profound revolution possible in your relationship with universal forces. Think about the mindset shift this creates in your entire approach to heartache. You're no longer positioning yourself as a patient spiritual student, hoping to eventually earn enough cosmic credits to deserve comfort. You're standing in your divine birthright as a conscious creator, recognizing that comfort is your natural state, that you're simply reclaiming through the authority of your declaration. This isn't about spiritual arrogance or bypassing your authentic emotions. It's about accurately understanding the mechanics of consciousness and how it interfaces with universal energy. Behind the scenes of every transformative healing journey is this fundamental truth. Your consciousness isn't just observing reality, it's actively creating it through the frequencies you broadcast. What's truly fascinating is what happens physiologically when you genuinely embody the energy of "it is done." When you're trapped in the wanting mindset, constantly seeking comfort but not truly believing it's possible, your nervous system remains in a subtle stress response. Your body stays in a state of Contraction, with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline circulating through your system, actually blocking the very healing you're trying to attract. But the moment you shift into genuine embodiment of "it is done," something transformative happens on a biological level. Your shoulders naturally relax, your breathing deepens, and a peaceful certainty replaces that anxious striving that's been keeping comfort at bay. This isn't just psychological, it's a measurable shift in your entire nervous system from fight or flight to rest and repair. The decision point in your healing journey comes when you recognize that your declaration isn't just words. It's a complete recalibration of your entire being. Research in psychoneuroimmunology has demonstrated that this shift from stress to certainty creates cascading effects throughout your entire body. Immune function improves, inflammation decreases, and your heart literally begins to establish a more coherent rhythm that can be measured with sophisticated equipment. What most people fail to recognize is that the universe responds to this physiological signature of certainty rather than to your conscious intentions or verbal declarations. Two people can speak identical words while broadcasting completely different frequencies based on their inner state of being. One person recites, "I am healed," while their system broadcasts doubt and fear. Another declares the same words while their entire being resonates with peaceful certainty. The universe responds to the dominant frequency, not the words themselves. Now, I want to explore the fascinating science behind how this physiological shift actually creates a magnetic force that physical reality rushes to match, while your external circumstances begin rapidly reorganizing themselves when you achieve this state of embodied certainty rather than desperate hoping. If you've noticed how your body physically responds with relaxation when you truly accept something as complete rather than struggling against it, write "My body knows truth" in the comments below. This physiological shift we're exploring goes far beyond simple relaxation. It's a fundamental recalibration of your entire energetic field. Research using sophisticated equipment can now measure the electromagnetic field that emanates from your heart and brain, showing distinct patterns when you're in states of certainty versus states of doubt or anxiety. The bodily shift when you say, "It is done," isn't just psychological, it's a measurable energetic transformation that the universe instantly recognizes and responds to. Think about how this creates a complete revolution in your healing journey. When you declare "it is done" from that place of authentic knowing rather than desperate hoping, you're literally altering the electromagnetic broadcast that extends several feet beyond your physical body. This frequency of completion operates as a magnetic force that physical reality rushes to, match with remarkable precision. It's not magical thinking, it's the science of resonance and entrainment that we can observe throughout nature. The breakthrough insight that transformed countless healing journeys was recognizing that the universe operates on precise, immutable laws that function with mathematical certainty, just like gravity. Gravity doesn't care if you believe in it or understand it. Jump off a building and you'll experience its effects regardless of your opinions about it. The law of energetic resonance works with exactly the same unwavering precision. This revelation completely transforms your approach to healing. You're not trying to convince the universe to comfort you or bargaining with cosmic forces to ease your pain. You're simply learning to align with laws that have been operating perfectly since the beginning of time. This understanding removes the element of chance or luck from your healing journey and places you firmly in the director's chair of your own experience. Consider how differently you might approach your heartache with this mindset shift. Instead of hoping that someday your pain might ease if you're good enough or patient enough, you're recognizing that comfort is your natural state, and you're simply removing the resistance that's been blocking it. It's like finally understanding that you've been swimming upstream against a powerful current, exhausting yourself in the process, when you could simply turn around and flow with the natural momentum of the stream. Behind every seemingly miraculous healing is this simple truth: the person aligned their frequency with the outcome they desired rather than with their current circumstances. They made decisions from their vision rather than their pain. This paradigm shift represents one of the most profound revolutions possible in your approach to heartache. What's particularly fascinating is that these universal laws aren't personal. They don't evaluate your worthiness or make judgments about whether you deserve comfort. They simply respond with flawless precision to the energetic broadcast you're transmitting, reflecting back to you exactly what you're emitting. No more, no less, no judgment, no evaluation. Now, I want to explore the critical difference between a child asking for something and a king issuing a command. How this energetic distinction completely transforms the universe's response to your declaration of, "It is done." If you've been sensing that your healing journey isn't about convincing the universe to comfort you, but about aligning with laws that are already operating perfectly, write "I align with universal law" in the comments below. Think about this fundamental distinction for a moment, the difference between asking and commanding. When a child asks for something, there's an inherent uncertainty in their energy. They recognize at some level that the answer might be no. Their request comes with a subtle vibration of doubt, a frequency of possibility, rather than certainty. But when a king issues a command, there's no question whatsoever about the outcome. The declaration carries an entirely different energetic signature, one of absolute authority and unshakable knowing. This decisive contrast in energy explains one of the most puzzling aspects of the healing journey: why some people experience miraculous comfort almost instantly, while others remain trapped in cycles of pain despite using identical techniques. The universe, with its intricate web of quantum possibilities, doesn't respond to your vocabulary. It responds only to this signature of certainty. I've observed this phenomenon countless times in transformation workshops. Two people can stand side by side, repeating the exact same affirmation: "My heart is healed." One person speaks these words from a place of hope mixed with doubt, essentially begging the universe for change. Their words say healing, but their energy screams uncertainty. The other person speaks from quiet authority, from the peaceful certainty that what they're declaring is already complete in the quantum field. Same words, entirely different energetic signatures, and the universe responds to the signature, not the syllables. This revelation illuminates why traditional affirmations often produce minimal results, despite faithful practice. It's not that affirmations don't work, it's that most people recite them while broadcasting a contradictory frequency. The breakthrough in your healing journey happens when you recognize this subtle but critical distinction. The universe doesn't hear your words, it feels your frequency. When you declare "it is done" while your energy field is broadcasting doubt, you're sending mixed signals that cancel each other out before they even leave your body. But when your entire being aligns with the certainty of completion, you create a unified broadcast that becomes irresistible to the quantum field. Consider how this mindset revolution transforms your entire approach to heartache. Instead of trying to convince yourself that healing is possible through repetitive affirmations, you're learning to speak from the place within you where certainty already exists naturally. This isn't about forcing yourself to believe something that feels untrue. It's about accessing a deeper truth that exists beyond your current pain. The journey toward mastery lies in developing your sensitivity to your own energetic broadcast, learning to feel when you're in alignment. And when you're in contradiction, this inner calibration becomes the foundation of your healing practice. You begin to recognize the subtle difference between speaking from hope mixed with fear versus speaking from peaceful certainty. Now, I want to explore how most people unknowingly sabotage their healing process by working against universal law rather than with it. How they've been asking timidly when they should be commanding boldly, hoping anxiously when they should be knowing peacefully. If you're beginning to recognize the profound difference between asking from uncertainty versus commanding with authority, write, "I speak with royal certainty," in the comments below. Here's one of the most profound revelations that completely transform my understanding of comfort and healing. Most people have been unconsciously working against universal laws rather than with them throughout their entire healing journey. They've been asking timidly when they should be commanding boldly, hoping anxiously when they should be knowing peacefully, broadcasting the frequency of absence when they should be embodying the frequency of completion. This hidden truth explains why comfort has seemed so elusive despite your most sincere efforts. Think about how this mindset revolution transforms your entire approach to heartache. Instead of positioning yourself as a spiritual beggar, hoping for crumbs of comfort from an indifferent universe, you're standing in your divine authority as a conscious creator. This fundamental shift in your relationship with universal forces creates a completely different energetic broadcast that accelerates healing beyond what most believe possible. The breakthrough insight that changed everything for me was recognizing that the universe isn't testing you or making you prove your worthiness through prolonged suffering. It's not evaluating whether you've earned enough cosmic credits to deserve comfort. It's simply responding with perfect precision to the energetic broadcast you're transmitting. No more, no less, no judgment, no evaluation. When you declare "it is done" from a place of authentic alignment, you're not trying to bend universal law or convince the cosmos to make an exception for your particular heartache. You're finally working in harmony with immutable principles that have been operating perfectly since the beginning of time. It's like finally understanding the rules of a game you've been playing blindfolded. Suddenly, everything makes sense, and your results transform accordingly. This revelation creates a profound shift in how you approach your healing journey. You're no longer positioning comfort as something outside yourself that you need to attract through increasingly complex spiritual techniques. You're recognizing it as your natural state that you simply command back into conscious awareness through your divine authority. Behind the scenes of every transformative breakthrough is this fundamental decision point, the moment when you stop fighting against universal law and start working with it instead. It's like finally recognizing that you've been swimming upstream against a powerful current, exhausting yourself in the process, when you could simply turn around and flow with the natural momentum of the stream. The universe operates with mathematical precision, reflecting back to you exactly what you're broadcasting, not what you're saying with your lips, but what you're emanating with your entire being. When you truly grasp this principle, your entire relationship with healing transforms. You're no longer approaching comfort as something you need to convince the universe to grant you. You're simply aligning your frequency with what you desire to experience. Now, I want to explore why some people seem to effortlessly attract comfort into their lives, how they've naturally aligned their energetic signature with the frequency of having rather than wanting, often without even realizing the power they're wielding. If you're beginning to recognize how you might have been unconsciously working against universal laws rather than with them, write, "I align with perfect precision" in the comments below. Have you ever noticed those rare individuals who seem to effortlessly attract comfort and healing into their lives, even in the midst of challenging circumstances? They're not luckier than you or somehow more deserving of relief. They've simply, whether consciously or unconsciously, aligned their energetic signature with the frequency of having rather than wanting. This distinction creates a fundamental revolution in how quickly their hearts find peace after being wounded. The breakthrough insight that transformed my own healing journey was observing these individuals closely and recognizing what sets them apart. Their command center has been naturally recalibrated from pleading to proclaiming, from hoping to knowing, from asking to commanding. They move through the world with a quiet certainty that comfort is their natural state, rather than something they're desperately trying to attract. This energetic distinction creates a completely different relationship with universal forces. When you observe these seemingly fortunate people closely, you'll notice something fascinating. They walk through life radiating an energy that says, "It is done," while others are still caught in the frequency of desperate hoping and pleading. They don't chase comfort. They magnetize it. They don't beg the universe for relief. They command it with quiet confidence. What makes this revelation so remarkable is that modern science is now beginning to measure and document what spiritual masters have known for centuries. When you speak, "It is done," from a place of genuine authority rather than desperate hoping, you literally alter the electromagnetic field around your body. This isn't metaphysical philosophy, it's biophysics. Scientists using sophisticated equipment can now measure the electromagnetic field that emanates from your heart and brain, extending several feet beyond your physical body. Research from institutes like HeartMath has documented that human emotions create measurable changes in this electromagnetic field. Fear, anxiety, and uncertainty emit one frequency pattern, while certainty, peace, and completion broadcast an entirely different signature. The universe, being fundamentally energetic in nature, responds not to your vocabulary, but to this invisible broadcast that emanates from your entire being. This revelation transforms your entire approach to heartache. Instead of focusing on perfecting your affirmations or visualization techniques, you begin paying attention to the quality of energy behind your declaration. You recognize that a simple "it is done," spoken with genuine certainty, carries more healing power than 1,000 perfectly crafted affirmations recited with doubt. The journey toward mastery lies in developing your sensitivity to your own energetic broadcast, learning to feel the subtle difference between speaking from hope mixed with fear versus speaking from peaceful certainty. This internal calibration becomes the foundation of your healing practice, allowing you to recognize when you're in alignment and when you're in contradiction. Now, I want to explore how this principle of energetic command hasn't been hidden from humanity, but has actually been demonstrated throughout history by the most extraordinary healers, visionaries, and spiritual masters who've transformed seemingly impossible situations through the authority of their consciousness. If you're beginning to recognize how your electromagnetic field might be broadcasting frequencies that are actually keeping comfort at bay, write "I'm recalibrating my frequency" in the comments below. This principle of energetic command that we're exploring hasn't been hidden away in some esoteric text or guarded by mystical gatekeepers. It's been openly demonstrated throughout history by the most extraordinary healers, spiritual teachers, and transformational leaders. When you look closely at those who facilitated seemingly miraculous recoveries, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, you'll notice they all operated from a fundamental stance of certainty rather than hope. Think about the most powerful healing figures across diverse traditions and time periods. Whether consciously or unconsciously, they all embodied this same principle, making decisions from their vision rather than their circumstances, speaking from completion rather than possibility. This pattern of commanding reality rather than requesting permission appears consistently across cultural boundaries, spiritual practices, and healing modalities. The revelation that transformed my understanding was recognizing that these extraordinary individuals weren't special or chosen. They simply aligned naturally with laws that are available to everyone. They didn't hope for healing to occur. They knew it with unshakable certainty. They didn't timidly ask for comfort to find those in pain. They commanded it with quiet authority that left no room for doubt. This pattern reveals a profound truth about your healing journey. The most significant shift happens not when you find the perfect technique or affirmation, but when you fundamentally alter how you communicate with the quantum field. The breakthrough occurs when you move from the mentality of seeking to the mentality of claiming, from the posture of a supplicant to the posture of a creator. What's particularly fascinating is the concept of energetic coherence. When you say, "It is done," with your lips, while your energy communicates doubt, you're sending mixed signals to the universe that essentially cancel each other out before they even leave your energy field. It's like trying to drive with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake. You create tremendous internal friction, but minimal forward movement. But when your entire being aligns with the certainty of completion, when your thoughts, emotions, subconscious beliefs, and verbal declarations all broadcast the same frequency, you create an energetic coherence that becomes irresistible to the quantum field. This alignment transforms ordinary words into powerful commands that the universe must obey. This understanding transforms how you approach your healing journey. Instead of trying to overpower your doubts with louder affirmations, you learn to create authentic alignment between all aspects of your being, bringing your subconscious beliefs into harmony with your conscious intentions, aligning your emotional state with your verbal declarations, and calibrating your energetic broadcast to match your highest vision for comfort and healing. Now, I want to explore what might happen if you began each day from this elevated state of consciousness, waking up in the morning with an unshakable knowing that what you desire is already complete in the realm of infinite possibilities. If you're beginning to recognize how mixed signals might be creating interference in your healing process, write "I choose coherent energy" in the comments below. Imagine this scenario for a moment, waking up tomorrow morning and in those precious moments between sleep and full wakefulness, feeling an unshakable knowing that your heart's healing is already complete, not hoping it might happen someday, not anxiously wondering when the pain will finally end, but experiencing a peaceful certainty that comfort already embraces you completely in the realm of infinite possibilities. This profound inner revolution creates a completely different trajectory for your entire day and ultimately your entire healing journey. When you begin each day from this elevated state of consciousness, something remarkable happens in every aspect of your experience. Your decisions, conversations, and perceptions naturally align with this. Certainty without effort or struggle. You move through the world differently. Your posture changes. Your voice carries a different resonance. Your energy field broadcasts a completely different signature that others can actually feel, even if they can't articulate what's different about you. This morning mindset isn't about elaborate visualization or forcing yourself to feel something that seems untrue. It's about anchoring into the frequency of completion before your feet even touch the floor. This single transformation in your morning consciousness creates ripple effects that permeate every interaction, every choice, and every perception throughout your day. The hidden revelation that changed everything for me was discovering how most people unknowingly sabotage this healing process without even realizing it. They use what I call the language of lack throughout their daily conversations, thoughts, and internal dialogue. Every time you say phrases like, "I want healing," "I need comfort," "I hope to feel better," or "I wish my heart didn't hurt," you're actually broadcasting the frequency of absence to the universe. These seemingly innocent phrases are actually powerful declarations of what's missing from your life, and the universe, being the perfect mirror that it is, simply reflects that absence back to you with flawless precision. This unconscious language pattern creates one of the most significant blocks in your healing journey. Your words aren't just descriptions of your reality, they're architects of it. When you declare, "I want comfort," the universe doesn't hear the object of your desire. It hears and responds to the frequency of wanting, which is fundamentally a broadcast of lack. It's like telling the universe, "Remove comfort from my life," and then wondering why you remain in pain despite your best efforts. The transformation begins when you recognize this subtle but critical distinction and begin shifting your language patterns from requesting to commanding, from begging to declaring, from hoping to knowing. Instead of saying, "I want my heart to heal," you declare, "My heart is already whole." Instead of, "I hope to find peace," you proclaim, "Peace fills me completely." This isn't wordplay or semantic games. It's a fundamental recalibration of your energetic broadcast that completely transforms how the universe responds to you. Now, I want to explore what happens when you recognize that your relationship with the universe isn't supposed to be one of subordination, but of partnership. How this mindset revolution transforms not just what you say, but who you become in the process. If you're recognizing how your everyday language might be unconsciously reinforcing pain rather than commanding comfort, write, "I speak the language of wholeness" in the comments below. This language shift represents one of the most profound transformations in your healing journey, a complete recalibration of how you communicate with the quantum field. The revelation that changed everything for me was recognizing the decisive power of present-tense declarations that assume completion rather than future possibility. Instead of saying, "I want comfort," declare with quiet authority, "Comfort embraces me now." Instead of, "I hope to heal," proclaim, "Healing flows through me completely." This isn't merely wordplay or semantic gymnastics. It's a fundamental revolution in your energetic broadcast that the universe instantly recognizes and responds to. Behind the scenes of this simple language shift is a complete recoding of your relationship with universal forces. You're no longer positioning comfort as something outside yourself that you're desperately trying to attract. You're acknowledging it as your natural state that you're simply reclaiming through the power of your declaration. The decision point in your healing journey comes when you recognize that your words aren't just describing your reality. They're actively creating it with every syllable you speak. When you declare completion rather than possibility, you're telling the universe exactly what reality to reflect back to you. This insight transforms not just your language, but your entire approach to heartache. Now, let's explore what might be the most revolutionary paradigm shift of all, one that completely transforms your relationship with universal forces. Most people have been taught to approach the universe as humble supplicants, hoping for comfort from some higher authority. If they're good enough, patient enough, or spiritually evolved enough, they position themselves as cosmic children asking permission from a parent-like universe that decides whether to grant their wishes. But what if this fundamental assumption about your relationship with universal forces has been completely backwards? What if your relationship with the universe isn't supposed to be one of subordination, but of partnership? What if you were designed from the beginning to command rather than request, to declare rather than plead? This mindset revolution represents one of the most significant evolutionary leaps in consciousness possible. Think about how differently you would approach your healing journey from this paradigm of partnership rather than subordination. Instead of hoping the universe might eventually notice your pain and grant you relief, you're standing in your divine authority as a co-creator, recognizing that comfort is your birthright that you're simply calling forth through your conscious command. The revelation that transformed countless healing journeys was recognizing that the universe isn't positioned above you, making judgments about whether you deserve comfort. It's positioned beside you, waiting for clear commands from your consciousness about what reality to manifest. This shift from cosmic child to cosmic partner creates a completely different relationship with universal forces, one where you command rather than beg, declare rather than wish, and know rather than hope. Now, I want to go even deeper into what happens when you declare "it is done" from this place of partnership rather than subordination. How it fundamentally transforms not just your experience of comfort, but your entire identity in relationship with universal forces. If you're feeling a resonance with this idea that you were designed to command comfort rather than beg for it, write "I claim my cosmic partnership" in the comments below. When you truly understand the revolutionary power of "it is done," you begin to recognize that you're not just making a hopeful statement about future possibilities, you're actually stepping outside the conventional timeline altogether. Most healing approaches position comfort as something that happens eventually, after enough time passes or enough techniques are applied. But this declaration operates on an entirely different principle that transcends linear time completely. The profound insight that transformed my own healing journey was recognizing that when you declare "it is done," you're aligning with the quantum reality where what you desire already exists in its completed form. You're not attracting something new or creating something from nothing. You're simply bringing your conscious awareness into alignment with a version of reality that already exists in the field of infinite possibilities. Think about how this transforms your entire approach to heartache. Instead of seeing comfort as a distant destination you're trudging toward with each spiritual practice or healing technique, you're recognizing it as an alternate reality that already exists, one you can step into through the authority of your declaration. This perspective shift creates a completely different relationship with your healing journey. Modern quantum physics has revealed what ancient wisdom traditions have taught for millennia, that time isn't actually linear as we perceive it in our everyday experience. All possibilities exist simultaneously in what scientists call the quantum field, the underlying matrix of potentiality from which our physical reality emerges. This isn't metaphysical philosophy, it's cutting-edge science that completely revolutionizes how we understand reality creation. When you declare "it is done," you're acknowledging a present reality that already exists in quantum form. You're essentially collapsing the quantum wave function around the reality of comfort you desire to experience. This might sound complex, but it's actually beautifully simple in practice. You're using your consciousness, the most powerful force in the universe, to select which version of reality you wish to experience from the infinite possibilities that already exist. The breakthrough moment in your healing journey comes when you truly grasp this principle, that comfort isn't something you need to create or earn or attract. It's a reality that already exists, and you're simply using your declaration to align with it. This perspective completely transforms your relationship with heartache. You're no longer positioned as someone desperately trying to escape pain, but as a conscious selector of which reality you choose to experience. Think about how differently you might approach your healing when you recognize that comfort isn't something that happens to you in the future. It's a parallel reality you can step into right now through the power of your declaration. This insight removes the element of time from your healing journey, which often creates the most suffering, the anxious wondering of when will this pain finally end. Now, I want to explore a practical framework that will help you implement these principles in your daily life. A simple, three-step approach that I call the CAP formula, which transforms these quantum concepts into everyday practice for accelerated healing. If you're beginning to sense how your consciousness might be selecting which version of reality you experience, write I. Choose the reality of wholeness in the comments below. Let's explore this practical framework that transforms everything we've discussed into daily practice, a simple three-step approach called the CAP formula. This emerged from years of studying what actually works in real-world healing, not just theory. The first element of this transformative approach is command, speaking your desire for comfort as if it's already a done deal, not as something you're hoping might happen someday, but as something that's already handled at the spiritual level. Consider the profound, energetic difference between saying, "I hope I can attract comfort soon," versus declaring, "Comfort is already mine." One statement broadcasts uncertainty and future orientation to the universe, essentially telling it to keep you in a state of hoping rather than having. The other emanates certainty and present completion, creating an entirely different energetic signature that the universe instantly recognizes and responds to. When you command with authentic authority, you're not trying to convince the universe of anything. You're making a declaration from your sovereign creative power, from the peaceful certainty that what you're proclaiming is already complete in the quantum field. This decision to shift from "I hope this happens" to "it's already handled" represents a quantum leap in your healing power, moving from the energy of asking to the energy of knowing. Creation has always worked this way. Just think about creation stories from virtually every spiritual tradition, where reality is spoken into existence through declarative commands, not tentative requests. "Let there be light" is a command, not a polite suggestion. This pattern reveals a profound truth about how consciousness interfaces with universal forces. It commands reality into being through the authority of declaration. The second element of the CAP formula, align, becomes most powerful when implemented as a morning declaration ritual. Those precious moments between sleep and full wakefulness represent a unique neurological state where your subconscious mind is extraordinarily receptive to new programming. Your brain waves are in an alpha or theta state rather than the beta state of normal waking consciousness, creating a direct pathway to the deeper mind that shapes your reality. Every morning before your feet even touch the floor, before the analytical, skeptical, conscious mind fully activates, say to yourself with quiet authority, "It is done." What makes this morning practice so transformative is that you're reaching your subconscious mind when the veil between conscious intention and subconscious belief is at its thinnest. In this liminal state, your declaration plants seeds directly into the fertile soil of your deeper mind, without encountering the usual resistance. Notice that in this morning ritual, you're not attaching your declaration to specific outcomes or elaborate visualizations. You're simply claiming the energy of completion as your dominant frequency for the day. This general declaration creates an energetic container that attracts specific manifestations aligned with comfort rather than pain. This seemingly simple practice creates a profound resonance that carries through your entire experience. The breakthrough moment in your healing journey comes when you recognize that your declaration isn't just words. It's a complete recalibration of your entire being. When you've made a morning declaration and aligned your energy with it being done, something fascinating begins to happen in your daily experience that brings us to the third element of the CAPI formula. If you've noticed how different you feel when you declare completion versus when you plead for change, write "I command with authority" in the comments below. The third essential practice that completes our CAPI formula is what I call permit, which is beautifully embodied through the practice of gratitude in advance. Before you go to sleep each night, take a moment to genuinely thank the universe for the comfort you've commanded, as if it's already embracing your heart completely. Notice the precise language here. You're not saying, "Please let this healing come to me," or I hope this works. You're expressing authentic gratitude for what you recognize is already yours in the spiritual realm and is now materializing in your physical experience. This practice of advanced gratitude creates a profound neurological and energetic shift that transforms your relationship with healing. Neurologically, it trains your brain to search for and recognize evidence of comfort rather than continued pain. Energetically, it broadcasts the frequency of having rather than wanting, and the universe always responds to your predominant frequency with mathematical precision. The breakthrough insight that revolutionized my own healing journey was recognizing that gratitude isn't just a nice spiritual practice, it's a powerful transformation accelerator. Gratitude is the emotional signature of completion. When you feel truly grateful for something, you've energetically accepted it as yours. This acceptance creates a magnetic pull that draws the physical manifestation of comfort to you with remarkable speed. What's fascinating is how this practice begins reshaping your perception almost immediately. When you consistently express gratitude for comfort before seeing physical evidence of it, you'll start noticing moments of peace and wholeness that were always around you, but filtered out by your previous pain-focused mindset. Your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that determines what you notice in your environment, begins highlighting pathways to healing rather than confirmations of continued suffering. When you've established this practice of commanding, aligning, and permitting through gratitude, something remarkable begins to happen in your daily experience. You'll start receiving what I call inspired nudges, subtle intuitive prompts to take specific actions. These might be impulses to call someone you haven't spoken to in years, to explore a new healing modality, to visit a particular place, or to express forgiveness you've been withholding. The critical insight here is understanding the difference between forced action from anxiety and inspired action from alignment. Forced action comes from fear and desperation, the frantic energy of, I need to make something happen to end this pain. This type of action often leads to exhaustion and minimal healing because it's broadcasting a frequency of lack rather than completion. Inspired action, by contrast, flows naturally from your declaration of, it is done. It feels less like striving and more like being guided. There's a sense of rightness, a peaceful knowing, a subtle excitement that feels more like recognition than anxiety. Your role in this cosmic partnership isn't to figure out how comfort will come to you. The how is the universe's department. If you've been experiencing these subtle, intuitive nudges after declaring, it is done, write, I follow divine guidance in the comments below. Now, I want to share something that might completely surprise you about the healing journey, something I discovered through years of working with people in profound pain. The catalytic element that supercharges comfort and healing isn't discipline, persistence, or even unwavering belief. It's something else. Entirely, it's joy, pure, authentic joy. This revelation transforms everything about how we approach heartache. Most people assume that healing requires serious dedication and solemn practice. They turn comfort into another burden, another source of pressure in their already overwhelming lives. But the breakthrough insight that revolutionized my own journey was recognizing that joy isn't just a pleasant emotional state that comes after healing. It's actually the highest vibrational frequency you can embody, and it's profoundly magnetic to comfort. When you laugh genuinely, when you experience that bubbling sensation of delight without forcing it, you're telling the universe, I trust you completely. I'm so certain everything is working out that I can fully relax into this moment. This signal of trust creates an energetic opening through which comfort flows naturally and effortlessly. It's like suddenly releasing a dam that's been blocking a river. The water doesn't need to be pushed or pulled. It simply flows when the obstruction is removed. Think about the transformative power of this mindset shift. Instead of approaching your healing journey with strain and intensity, you begin approaching it with lightness and playfulness. You find the genuine humor in your previous limitations. You celebrate the smallest moments of peace. You allow yourself to experience joy not as a reward for healing, but as the pathway to it. This isn't about forcing fake positivity or pretending your pain doesn't exist. It's about liberating yourself from the heaviness of desperate wanting into the lightness of joyful knowing. When joy becomes your dominant frequency, comfort finds you with remarkable speed because you're broadcasting the exact frequency that comfort naturally resonates with. To anchor these principles into your physical reality, I want to share a powerful writing ritual that has transformed countless healing journeys when practiced with sincere intention. Take a notebook, preferably one dedicated solely to your comfort work, and at the top of a blank page, write these 3 words 3 times. It is done. It is done. It is done. There's something mysteriously powerful about the act of writing by hand. Unlike typing, handwriting engages multiple brain regions simultaneously and creates neural pathways that digital communication simply doesn't access. When you physically write these words, you're not just recording them, you're embedding them into your neurology and energy field. After writing these 3 words, describe in vivid, sensory-rich detail how your life looks and feels now that comfort flows freely to you. Notice the crucial distinction here. You're not writing about how your life will be when comfort comes someday in the future. You're writing as if it's already here, as if you're simply documenting your current reality of wholeness and peace. This subtle shift from future orientation to present acknowledgement creates a profound, energetic alignment that accelerates healing beyond what most believe possible. Describe how you feel, waking up each morning with a heart that feels light and whole. Detail how your relationships have transformed now that emotional pain no longer colors your interactions. If you've experienced moments where joy unexpectedly broke through your pain and brought immediate relief, write, "Joy is my healing pathway," in the comments below. This writing exercise does something truly remarkable. It creates a detailed blueprint that your subconscious mind begins working to materialize. Neuroscience has revealed that your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what you've actually experienced and what you've vividly imagined with emotional resonance. When you create this detailed written account of your comfort-filled reality, your subconscious begins reorganizing your perceptions, decisions, and actions to match this new blueprint. Now, I want to share something profound about the deeper significance of these 3 simple words we've been exploring. The words, "it is done," aren't just a manifestation technique or spiritual practice. They're a declaration of who you truly are at the deepest level. A creator, not a victim. A commander of reality, not a passive recipient of circumstances. When you speak these words with authentic conviction, you're not just trying to attract comfort from outside yourself. You're reclaiming your divine birthright as a conscious creator. This represents perhaps the most significant identity transformation possible on your healing journey. Most people approach comfort as something they do, a series of techniques they practice, hoping to eventually feel better. But the revelation that changed everything for me was recognizing that true healing happens through a fundamental identity shift. Moving from someone who hopes to attract comfort to someone who naturally embodies it. Think about how differently you move through the world when this identity shift occurs. You're no longer positioning yourself as a wounded person desperately seeking relief. You're standing in the unshakable, knowing that comfort is your natural state and pain is simply a temporary experience that's passing through. This mindset revolution transforms not just how you feel, but who you become in the process. When you declare, "it is done," with genuine conviction, you're stepping into an entirely different relationship with universal forces. You're moving from the mentality of seeking to the mentality of claiming, from the posture of a beggar to the posture of a sovereign creator. This journey of reclaiming your divine authority represents one of the most profound awakenings possible in human consciousness. The journey from heart pain to comfort represents the most profound transformation possible, not just in how you feel emotionally, but in how you understand your place in the cosmic order. It's moving from the wilderness of uncertainty and limitation, where you felt lost and alone with your pain, into the sanctuary of knowing and expansion, where comfort embraces you as naturally as breath. This transformation isn't about finding something new or becoming someone different. It's about remembering a truth your soul has always known, but your conditioning has obscured. It's like returning to a home you never actually left, recognizing that comfort has always been your natural state, that pain temporarily veiled from your awareness. When you declare "it is done" from this place of remembering, you're not trying to convince yourself of something that isn't true. You're simply acknowledging what has always been true beneath the temporary experience of heartache. This recognition creates a different trajectory for your healing journey, one where comfort finds you with remarkable speed because you're broadcasting the exact frequency it naturally resonates with. If something within you is responding to this message with a sense of recognition, as if you're remembering something you've always known rather than learning something new, write "I remember my birthright" in the comments below. As we come to the close of our journey together today, I want you to remember something powerful. The 3 words, "it is done," aren't just a technique. They're a reminder of your natural state as a conscious creator. Every time your heart feels that familiar ache, these simple words can instantly reconnect you to the truth of who you really are. I create these videos because I've seen these principles transform lives, including my own, in ways that seem miraculous to outside observers, but are simply natural law in action. The path from heartache to wholeness is one of the most profound journeys possible in human consciousness, and it's available to you in every moment through this simple declaration. If something in this message resonated deeply with you today, if you felt that subtle, energetic shift we discussed, tap that like button. Not for me, but as a declaration to the universe that you're stepping into this new level of consciousness. Your like becomes a physical gesture of alignment with these principles. I'd love to continue this healing journey with you. If you found value in these insights, subscribe to join our community of conscious creators. Each week, I share another piece of the comfort puzzle, another key that unlocks a deeper level of peace within you. If this message found its way to you exactly when your heart needed it most, write "Divine Comfort Found Me" in the comments below. I read every comment and love connecting with fellow travelers on this path of remembering our wholeness. There's a video right here that perfectly complements what we've explored today. It reveals the hidden blocks that might be interfering with your "it is done" declarations and how to dissolve them effortlessly. Click and continue with me over there, because your journey to commanding comfort into your heart is just beginning. Remember, you were born to command comfort, not beg for it, and the universe is listening.